Every day across the state, millions of Tennessee motorcyclists are on the road, enjoying the fresh air and the thrill of riding. From the Smoky Mountains to the Mississippi River, they ride for a lot of reasons.
I ride because it's like therapy to me. I can get out on two wheels and just cruise the road and clear my mind, and it seems like everything goes away.
I ride because it's a freedom that very few get to experience.
I ride because it's a great way to relieve stress.
I ride for the pure joy of the open road.
Not to mention the gas savings. And the fact they're easy to park just about anywhere. Whether they ride a laid-back cruiser or a sleek sport bike, all of these riders have one thing in common. They love being on two wheels. The problem is, they're also taking a big risk because they're sharing the road with distracted drivers. Whether it's texting or just having the radio so loud that they can't hear what's going on around their vehicle, these distracted drivers can cause serious injury or even death when their car or truck collides with a motorcycle and its rider.
He's gone. He didn't make it. I just remember screaming. I don't remember loud. I don't remember how long. I just remember screaming, no. Guy pulled up, pulled out, from the looks of it, didn't stop at all. Hit Jeff. They said that Jeff reacted like a cop. The way that they impacted, he tried to veer around the back of the car. And in doing that, the speed that the other car was taking off, they impacted at the strongest part of the car. I mean, it curled his handlebars. It threw him out of his shoes. We had to have a closed casket because he was so broken, and his face was pretty much shattered.
You start around a slight curve to the left, and as I started into that curve, all I could see was the back of a Winnebago backing out of a parking lot that was on the right side of the street. I started to lose traction, and my bike started to lie down. And as the Winnebago came on out of the parking lot, he hit me broadside with the back of the trailer, or with the back of the RV, knocked me down, and proceeded to back on up till his wheels were up on top of my engine block. But he thought he had backed up on the curb and pulled off and left me laying there. As the gentleman pulled away, with my hand still on the handlebars, this hand gets crushed by the back of, or the inside of the bumper, and smashed it between the handlebars and it, and bent the handlebars down almost to my tank as he pulled off. That set me to a nice little 6-year-old girl scream, I think. And what amazes me is that he didn't hear me scream. And they transported me to the hospital, and I found that I had a dislocated knee, dislocated hip, and a broken pelvis. I can't ride a bike anymore. I couldn't ever since the motorcycle injury because I can't hold it up. And that's oh, I don't even know how to describe that, you know, because there's nothing to me like riding a motorcycle. It's like being in the wind for real, you know, and you don't get that feeling from anything else.
This is a collage from the day he bought his motorcycle back in February of 2006, and he was very proud that he finally bought him a bike. This is one of my favorite pictures of me and my father because we had a great bond, and you can tell in the picture that we were pretty close to one another. We had a great father-son relationship. It was always, if I needed something, I could turn to him no matter what it was. I relied on him on just about everything. And anytime I needed advice, he was always one of the first people I would ask before anybody else. It was 7:01 a.m. and he was on his way to work. He was on Centennial Boulevard and he was coming down the hill, and a tractor trailer was waiting to turn into the Pilot gas station. And as he was coming down the hill, the tractor trailer driver turned out in front of him. According to the deposition, he said that he more or less got impatient and turned out in front of him and hit him because the parking lot was full. My father was transported to Vanderbilt, where he later died.
We were going to go down to the bike shop to get our boy a new bike because I actually got tired of working on his old one. And we made it maybe 5 miles from the house, and some little lady sitting at the red light decided she just didn't want to wait for her light to turn green, and she pulled out in front of us, and I did everything I could to miss her, which I did miss her, but the bike caught a high spot in the asphalt, and
when it did that, it threw my mom off the bike. I looked in front of me to make sure I was good, and as I was going around my dad, my mom landed right in front of my front tire of my bike.
He don't have any scars you can see, but I think there's still something there in his mind that, you know, he not only was in it, he got to witness what happened to us, then he got in it.
So I went to see my daddy, and he had a big gash on the side of his head, and they were going to shave his head so they could stitch it up. And he was, of course, he had to tell him to do it to where he could still cover it up with his hair, that way he have a big bald spot on it. But he just looked at me and he said, "I'm okay. Your mother's not. Go be with your mother." So we left the hospital, we went down to Vanderbilt to the trauma center. And all I could do was cry because I was so afraid that I had lost my mother.
You get through it. I'll never forget it. And I'll never not think about it when I go through that intersection.
This wasn't my choice to have pain every day from it, you know, and not be able to do things in life as simple as running and playing with my grandkids anymore.
Well, when we had the accident, we had 2 grandkids, which were 2 and 3 at the time, which really affected them, seeing their grandparents all bruised and swollen. And now, you know, they're older, but we got grandkids coming all the time. You know, they're ranged all the way down to one's not even a year old yet. I like to see him grow up.
So how can you be a part of the solution when it comes to making roads and highways safer for everyone, especially motorcycles? It's simple, really. Just be alert and pay attention to your surroundings as you drive. Remember that motorcycles can sometimes be hard to see because of their size, especially in rearview mirrors.
Always check your blind spots before making that lane change.
It also helps to understand that motorcycles ride in different formations for several reasons. A staggered formation allows the riders to keep a safe distance from each other and other vehicles, and yet still maintain a better view of any roadway hazards in their path.
Bikers riding single file may be getting ready to exit as a group. In either case, don't attempt to change lanes into the formation. For everyone's safety, allow the group to pass before changing lanes.
The no zone is something else to keep in mind. The no zone is a huge blind spot around an 18-wheel truck that is extremely dangerous for bikers. While in the no zone, the motorcyclist is virtually invisible to the truck driver. When you're sharing the road with motorcycles and large trucks, make sure you never trap a rider in the no zone. If the trucker has to make a sudden lane change, the rider has nowhere to go, and it could cost them their life. Because of their smaller size, motorcycles can often be hidden behind larger vehicles. Intersections are one of the deadliest areas for motorcycles. Remember to take your time and look twice both ways. While a group of motorcycles is easier to see, this single rider was invisible to the vehicle's driver until the last second. There's nothing more important than saving a life. Even when you're pulling out of a driveway, look for motorcycles. Look twice, both ways, before entering the street.
By following these simple rules, you can share the road and make it a safer place for everyone. Always watch for motorcycles and save a life.